What's up, guys? Pittsburgh White Schwartz back again with yet another deck tech. As you can see, we've had a bit of return to form this week. We are doing a actual video deck tech with actual real physical trading cards. Reasons for that are mostly because, and I think some of you guys probably have already seen this before, I've been invited to participate in the first ever White Schwartz Invitational Tournament. It's a 32-person invitational international event. That's going to be held online, and there's going to be a bunch of sick commentary, streamed games, awesome stuff to fill the void since we didn't have a spring season this year because of all the quarantine and pandemic stuff going on. So it's going to be super, super awesome. I'm super hyped to participate, and I needed to make sure I had a good webcam setup going. So as a test and sort of to, get this deck that I've had in paper out there that's really fun, I wanted to set up my desk, get everything good to go, and make sure that hopefully, if and when I get on stream, got some good video for you guys. So, all right. So getting into the deck, this one has a bit of a story behind it. One night, I was in the Card Games Discord. Some of you guys might be in that. And we were brewing a deck list, and I was in there with like Tin, Kit, Wibbs was there, and we were going over this deck, and I passed out in the channel because I was of course, I was drinking. And I woke up the next morning, hungover, at my desk, and I pick my face up off my keyboard, and I look at my screen, and I see it's not even an Encore Decks link. It is a MS Paint created deck list of this deck. And then when I went to Japan after that, I just ended up buying it because the deck is super meme, super fun. So today we're going to go over Mono Dal Segno. So let's get right into it. So we're going to start with this Himari. So this Himari is a 1500. It runs only to center, kind of like Armin or whatever. Then it has on attack, mill top, and if it's a 0, it goes to back row. So it might random plus, it might dodge battle. It's a hack character. It's got a lot of things going for it. But it's not great. But it is our field plus, so we run 4 of it because we want to see it in our opener. Another card we want to play early, we got the Hat Ricky. So this is when it becomes reverse. You pay 1, clock yourself, search your deck for a hat, send this to memory. It's really important that it's hat and not level 1 because we need to grab a 2/1 that we early play level 1, and I'll get into that when I get into level 1s because that's a whole can of worms in and of itself. I'll get to that later. Moving on to level 0, this is the only other red that we run in the deck other than level 3. It's this Noiri. It's 1500 power. If you have 1 or less other characters, it gives only that other character 1500 power. Unlike the one from To Love Ru and a couple other ones, it only gives that other character. So that kind of sucks. But when it becomes reverse, you reveal top, and if it's a level 1 or higher character, this goes to stock. So I might give you some free stock. You don't want to send it and leave it there, though, because you kind of want to clock this to have red fix. Unless you're just going to clock an extra level 3 and somehow get another one, which I don't know how you do. But, yeah, maybe if I was changing the list and I understood more about it before I bought it, I would have bought some more red cards to fix. But, it's fine. It's fine. Moving on, we got our Brainstormer for the deck. We got this Ame. It is a 2K Rest 2 Search Brainstorm. And then if you play Climax, you give something 500 power and a level cross turn. So that's pretty cool. You can get your stuff anti-changed with it. Or you can run over bombs or whatever it is you want to do with it, whatever. It's fine. The Rest 2 has all the problems that normal Rest 2 brainstorms have. Oh, and then this card, this Hazuki, I think Hazuki's her name. It's on play clock filter, so pitch a card, grab a character from your clock yourself. Underrated effect. It's pretty good at level 0 and stuff, because getting your stuff stuck in clock, and you don't really have grave access and stuff. It's a good way to grab things preemptively. It also has pay 1, send itself to memory, top check up to 4, add a character. So, good first deck speed. Goes to memory, removes itself from the game. We don't run green, we don't care about it. It's just a good filter card. Because we don't really have any other way to filter cards out of our hand. Other than this dank level 1 card that we'll get into, which is the main reason I put this deck together. Alright, so moving on to level 1s, this is where it gets fun. So this is gonna look weird. This is a level 2, but we're gonna play that at level 1 because we need to have this card in our level at level 1. So that sounds ridiculous, right? This card is an experience requirement to early play this at level 1. That sounds dumb, right? You're not gonna do that very often. Yeah, that's the main problem with this deck. You have to hard mulligan for this card that you're not going to play level 0, and that isn't a climax, which feels hella bad, and then you have to clock it so that you can get it into memory for level 1. Thankfully, these are both hat characters, so if you somehow sack an extra turn at level 0, which is like almost impossible with this deck, um, you're gonna be able to use your hat key to get your 1/0 to put it into memory if you whiffed it on mulligan or whatever. So that's one way you can get into it, but like it's still unbelievably sacky. But getting into these cards themselves, this is a on play reveal top as long as it's a character. This is a 6500 cross turn, so it's a 1/0 6500 beater cross turn for free, which is actually really good. And then there's this one, which is a 2/1. It's an early play at level 1 if this is in your level, as I mentioned. And it has climax combo with the wind, which is this wind right here, where on climax play, search your deck for a character. So that timing's really cool when we talk about this next card. It opens up a lot of plays with it in the mid game, as opposed to like all the other nutty stuff that you can do with this card. So playing in the creek, this is the card that really made me want to pick up this deck. Other than, the crazy story behind it. So this is Magic Brainstorm. This is MTG Brainstorm if it didn't cantrip. So it's draw 2, put 2 back. That effect in Weiss is like super troll. But if you don't know what you're doing with it, this is just a -1. So, okay, so getting into things you can do with it. So the timing of this with the on climax play search means that if you need to filter climaxes out of your hand and like you can have a really compressed first deck if you like drawn a bunch of climaxes, you can draw 2, hopefully they're clean, put 2 cards back, and then instead of brainstorming, which is what you'd think of, like putting 2 climaxes back in your deck, brainstorm, play 1+2, you could then play your climax combo that you're going to play anyway because you're flooded out, because that's what happens when you play Weiss and you have 3 climax in your hand. You put the 2 that you're not going to play back in your deck with Creek, then you play the climax combo, search for however many of this you have on the board, and then shuffle, and then now you have cancels back in your deck again. This sort of stuff, I think you kind of see these kinds of plays, quote unquote, with like shuffling cancels back into your deck and stuff like that, is like English Love Live Sunshine. People at like sort of the mid to higher level of the games, I think, figured out a lot of those plays where it's like you scry climaxes to the bottom and then you drop search or you otherwise shuffle, which then allows you to sort of put cancels back up somewhere in your deck as like the theory. It's all sacky, but like, it's Weiss. You're playing on statistics and stuff like that. So a climax somewhere possibly in your deck is better than a climax, possibly at the bottom, unless you're going to mill to it. So, yeah, it just enables some pretty crazy plays like that. Like, I'm not going to get into everything with this card, but this card is just nutty. It's so much fun. People that don't know about this card, or you're going to do it, and they're like, what the hell are you doing, dude? Why are you just putting, 2 cards back on top of your deck from your hand? It's broken. But, yeah, if you don't know what you're doing with this, it's just a -1. So, the big thing with this is you need to have a follow-up play. Even if it's just brainstorming, you need to have a follow-up play to take advantage of what this is, because all this does is set triggers and quote-unquote filter. It actually just completely sets 2 of your triggers for your attacks, as well as a bunch of other shit. But yeah, it's a really good card when used well, but it's just super meme. It's so much fun. Last cards at level 1 are 2k backup. We're going to back up to 8, 5, 9k. So, that's fine for a deck like this, I guess. We're kind of grasping at straws here anyway. All right, moving on. Let's get into level 2s here, actual level 2s. So this is really lean. We got this Ame backup. This card is reminding you that Dal Segno is just a porn game. This is a pay 3 overall, sack a character, waiting room, anti-change. Pretty simple. You play it, it's anti-change. I'm not going to get into this anymore. Got funny art. And then we got money counter. And when I say money counter, this is horror. So I actually learned this last night, and we were talking in Discord. Japan calls this profile horror, not money counter. We call it money counter over here in the West. But this is like the original money counter. It's horror. So this is normal 2/3 anti-damage counter. And this one's better because it has cuter art. So yeah. All right, into level 3s. This is going to get real weird real fast, but let's start with a simple one first. So we got this Ame. It's a 4 or more field early play. It heals, and then it gives 500 times your other characters on board to another character. She cannot buff herself. That's really important because she's only a 9k. Really dinky, and you don't really have other things to buff other than, this. So Kind of sucks. It's mostly there for the heal to like maybe help us if we like want to spend stock, but like we need stock for a finisher. So, it's fine though in a vacuum. It's a fine card. It's better at level 3 because some of your other stuff needs to get reverses. So if somehow your opponent doesn't answer it or you play this at level 3, it's fine to give your other characters power. So yeah, let me put this down here and let's get into the weird stuff. So we got 2 of this Nori, 2 of this Himari, and 3 of this EO. So the EO climax combos with... Where are my climaxes? I've lost them. There they are. Okay. The climaxes with this pants here. So I'm going to walk you through the ideal what happens here. All right. So you play this. This Nori is 500 for every other, so it's 12k. And then it's on reverse. You mill the top card, and if it has a soul trigger, it restands for free. Okay, so that sounds pretty sacky, but hold on. You play this Himari. So this Himari, its main effect is it's come and play. Look at the top 6 cards of your deck. Put 3 of them into grave. Put 3 of them back in any order. And then it also has some other cool effects where it's like every time you play another character, it gets 1,000 power up to twice, so it's also 12k, just like the Nori. And then it has on attack, you reveal the top card, and if it is a character, you can then choose to pay 2 and heal. So you like, it doesn't really know your trigger, right? Because you're just going to trigger the card. But you know, it's a good way to like have heals on attack, which might be cool. You might be able to refresh and then heal, which is always neat. Not a lot of decks can do that. And then let's get into the actual EO. So the EO is an extra 1,000 power. It's a 9/5. If you have 2 cards of memory, which is free with the hat and the Hazuki. The other effects is draw 2, ditch 1. So she gets into her own climax, which is pretty cool. Wish it was top check 3, but you know, draw 2, ditch 1, whatever. And then it also has climax combo. When you play this, you need to choose another character and pay 1. So ideally, you're going to choose this. And then you are going to give that character 2,500 power. And on reverse, you mill the top 3 cards of your deck and burn for the number of climaxes, so mini Ronco. But it costs 1 and you have to give it to another character. So I'm not exactly sure how this works because I've never been able to get it off because this deck is suspect at best. But I think the idea is that you're supposed to restand this and then it gets another reverse. I don't think it actually works that way because the text reads when this character becomes reverse. That's a really weird interaction with these sort of like, this is kind of like Build Your Own America-esque, but those are usually on attack, so like this doesn't come up. So I'm not exactly sure how that works. If you know, put that down in the comments. But I don't think that matters because it's just not gonna matter. You're either gonna kill them with like these 4 attacks, or they're gonna cancel and you're gonna die. Because like, I don't know. This is a lot of stock to do not a lot of things that requires you to also like, in the top 6 cards, set the perfect thing. I mean, you do have Creek to like help you do it, but like this is like never gonna work. But it's really funny when it does, and I think that's the point. This combo is just like super meme, super fun. This finishing board is like, just gives you all these like crazy options. All these things are going on. If you're like looking at the top cards of your deck, your opponent has no idea what's going on. They've never seen it before. So yeah, just a really fun, interesting finishing combo for a really weird, interesting deck. Alright, so I'll go over the climaxes real quick. Should be pretty obvious at this point, but 4 pants, 4 wind. I actually don't like this climax lineup at all, but you know, is what it is. Wind's either really good or really bad. Adding back like another pants or a wind just like feels bad. Because like these are just 7Ks and like your opponent's gonna be able to run them over, and like you have to pay 1 to play it again, and then play the climax combo. So it's just like it just like feels bad. It would be better if this was like costless or had a way to refund itself, but not great. But yeah, it's fine. It's really just meme with this deck is about memeing with this finishing board and memeing with Creek. And then also complaining when you miss your experience condition level 1. That's a really important part about playing the deck. If you're not complaining every time you don't sack into getting your level 1 combo to work, you're not playing this deck correctly. Make sure that you're always complaining about not having everything go perfect for you, which is just a really important part about playing Weiss. But yeah, that's the deck. Just a really funny, cheap deck. I think I paid around like 65 US equivalent for this. Since like none of these cards are like played, except for like Creek sometimes, and like I think like the most expensive card in the deck is this money counter at 2 of, which, you know, honestly, you're not going to 2-turn anyone with the deck. You could probably cut this and run something else. Who knows? You could probably get this deck or something similar. Extremely, extremely cheap. Very fun deck to play at locals. Just this card is just Creek is just like one of the most fun cards to play with, even if it just ends up negging you one. It's really fun. But yeah, that's the deck. Like I said, really excited for the White Schwartz Invitational. I'll have all the information linked down there in the description. Going to be really, really fun. A lot of other content creators and players have already announced their involvement. So you guys can dig into Twitter and see who is all coming and stuff like that. The announcement is coming on the 15th. All the stuff that's already been announced, and I'll link all their channels and stuff like that. There's a Twitch channel, YouTube, Twitter, all sorts of stuff going on. I'll link all that in the description so you guys can check that out. And I'm super hyped. It's going to be super fun. Great way to fill that gap, like I said, of not having a Springfest season. Really sucks, but this is going to be awesome. So I'm super excited. I hope you guys are too. Other channel stuff, Rush Rundowns Mondays, Wednesdays, every week. Get through those. Deck techs just like this one on Fridays. 3 days guaranteed content every single week, so make sure you guys subscribe. If you like this video, you know, give it the thumbs up. Tell us how we did down in the comments. That really helps us out. And by the time this video goes up, the whole slime set review will be up that she did with Ryan Wibberley. That was a blast. We'll have that playlist made. Make sure you guys check that out. And I think that's it. Pittsburgh White Schwartz signing off. See you guys in the next one.